Hello and welcome to Inches and Cubes, your Toronto-based Warhammer 40k podcast brought to you by Encounter Wargaming. I am Adam, the Truest Axe, and today we also have...
Paul, Mr. Fist Fowler, and special guest...
Simon, a.k.a. Val Heffelfinger.
Woot woot.
Oh, hi.
And stay tuned for this quick musical break. And we're back.
Cool. We are going to talk about Elysians. Farewell to... No. What'd you say?
Elysian Fields forever.
Elysian Fields forever.
I like... Okay, so these guys, I suggested the episode name Elysian Fields, and everyone was like, is that... Are people going to get that? I think they're going to get that.
So apparently we just stumbled on what Elysians are a reference to in the first place?
Yeah. Did no one know this?
I mean, I did a lot of research, but it was all Games Workshop based.
Yeah.
We'll save what the actual gold nugget is there for when we talk about them.
Yeah.
But we're going to be going on, as usual, with our hobby desk, the General's Armchair, and just generally have a good fun time maybe at the end.
Yeah, Nick is stuck in the warp somewhere, so...
That's unfortunate.
He'll turn up 2 weeks ago.
He's got to stop toying around with Slanesh.
I think it's too late. He's not going to do that.
You think he's pot committed at this point?
Oh, yeah. He's chasing that high.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's up.
Cool.
Like we said, like you would have heard earlier, we're doing bi-monthly, not bi-weekly.
Let's be clear what that means.
Semi-monthly. Yeah, we're doing twice a month now. Every second week you'll get a podcast.
So we're talking like 1st and 15th, or,
It'll still be a Friday release.
Okay. So like 2nd and whatever Friday.
Yeah, 2nd and the one that so it wouldn't be 3rd because that would be right after. You would do like 2 and 4. I bet.
Something like that.
Yeah, you can't clap on the 1 and 3. You sound like an idiot.
Nope.
No.
Uncle Hef's a big fan, so he's trying to plan out his listening schedule right now.
Hey, just me and my sweet bulldog Peaches walking around on Fridays. Come to depend on you guys for some chatter in my ears, some chuckles. Some stopping in the middle of the road so I can frantically text you guys something that I wanted to criticize you about.
Or skip 30 over beer reviews.
The beer reviews are... You should probably put a beer reference in the title of the podcast, in fairness to your listeners.
Holy shit. Yeah, well, you know what? It's too late for them now.
Or maybe there's a whole, sub-demo of 40k people who are clamoring for... a beer-themed podcast. There actually is one called Beer and Bolters, or at least there used to be one.
Yeah, we...
and it was horrible.
Yeah, we followed them home one night and just wet-worked it.
They're from the SAF, and they talk about their guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we use knives. JK, we didn't kill anyone in those.
No one got murdered, especially those guys.
And they're very nice people, I'm sure. Sure.
I mean, I listened to a lot of it. Anyway, the beer reviews weren't as good.
No. Should we... We should probably take
Speaking of which...
All this thirsty talk has made me thirsty for beer.
Let's not delay. So the theme here...
Paul just pulled a Ninja Star / bottle opener out of his wallet, and it's really impressive.
Oh, this thing's always on the podcast. What am I about to open, though?
Yeah, there's a theme here. I went on a little weekend trip to KW.
Do you wanna blow it up?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And this is what came out of it. This is from Block 3. I don't know which one exactly you grabbed. Let's rip off his little cape.
I didn't even see a label.
There we go.
There it is. Dead Later?
Dead Later. Barrel-aged Abbey-style double.
Great.
Ooh, it's German.
Strong beer from St. Jacobs, Ontario. 500 mLs, 8.6 ABV.
All right, so not too bad.
No descriptive text on the bottle?
No, there's no copy.
Which I kind of appreciate.
Ooh, look at that dark color right there.
Yeah, it's kind of shit I do like.
I always intend to just bring a terrible beer with me to this, and then I always forget.
Any beer at all.
Yeah. No, I've never brought beer. No, maybe once.
Yeah, maybe. Did we have you on in the morning?
Top these all up.
Yeah, there was a morning recording session that
and we
time.
did Caesars.
That was lovely.
Yeah.
Here, you have this because I'll steal it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So I grabbed this guy because anything barrel aged is generally fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Oh wow, that's got a lot of flavor. You've finally picked a beer I like.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You know,
I do have some sours back there that could break out for you if you want.
rather than being bottom of the barrel, this is downright top of the barrel.
Yeah.
I would say top
Cheers!
shelf.
Cheers to that, gentlemen.
Cheers.
All right. So yeah, let's.
Beers.
So I don't think I said the name. It's 3 Block is the brewery out in KW there. So if we do have some regular KW listeners, so go check it out.
So I've got a quick question.
Yeah.
So all these beers you guys talk about, are they beers you have to like know a guy and like where do you get them for the most part? Like, do you actually go to the breweries for the most part?
The smaller guys, yeah, Henderson's we go right down, and sometimes they'll just be like, hey, because a couple of the guys.
6.
Yeah, a couple of the guys know us, and like we're in there a lot. Not a lot, not like an alcohol.
Like a lot, but
Yeah,
Enough.
yeah.
There's a number of places in walking distance from here. So
that
it's-
are like small breweries.
Yeah.
Neat. See, I'm from the east side of Toronto.
You've got a number.
What?
You've got left field out there.
Yeah, we do.
You've got.
They always get in trouble from their neighbors, though. That's kind of the tone of the East End.
Well, yeah, not in my backyard.
Yeah, don't be loud. Don't be having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball themed beer is tolerated,
Yeah.
not
No.
accepted.
Stuff like that might fly over in Parkdale, but
This is my point. It's a brave world out here.
this is why I like living in Little Italy, where old men will yell at you for not watering the sidewalk.
Just as a guy who power washes patio, though,
That is highly satisfying.
so good. It's like using an eraser to clean something.
Yeah, it's so much fun. If you ever want to like kind of soothe if you're on a bad flight and they have Wi-Fi, just like Google power washer porn, and it is just like half a dirty thing, half a clean thing. It is terrific. Like,
I may have a lot of power washing to do come the next 12 to 18 months, so I'll let you know.
yeah, I'll just.
I cleaned my fence, and it was like pretty close to black with soot because we were right by the
Coal mine?
Richmond Adelaide overpass, so just cars going by all the time, and it is like pine colored now, and it was just the most transcendent experience. It was brilliant,
It's the closest thing to a time machine that you can get commercially available.
unbelievable. I just stand and look at my patio now, and it's just like, wow, who knew this could happen?
All this could happen to me.
So I feel like we're at the end of a Skip 30 moment.
Yeah, no, I might hang in for that one.
Yeah,
there
you
was
see?
enough sidetracks and little
See, this
cute
is
asides.
this is why I'm happy that you're listening, or you're here now, because you're going to listen to these.
Right.
And you're going to be like, oh, there is value in the personal beer anecdote.
The thing is, though, you guys often do try to describe what the beer tastes like, and I don't know how to describe such things.
Oh, well, you just, you toucan Sam it, yeah? Follow your nose. Come on.
Smells like old cigarettes.
No, that's
No,
just
that's-
your regular mouth.
Oh. I'm gonna go with cherry blossoms.
Sure.
Ooh, now we're getting somewhere.
I mean, there's no bad ideas.
My parents were like big time wine snobs, and so I had to learn how to like get by the like nice wine session with Dad. And no, I did appreciate it, but I did lose a lot of the nose from all the hobbying and spray paint and super glue and all that. And so, for a while I joked around, just be like, every single wine was like, yeah, it smells and tastes like red wine. And then I realized I should stop offending their $100 bottle of wine purchases, and so I decided every wine smelled and tasted like chocolate and blackberries.
Did that get you by?
That got me by.
All right.
Yeah. And everyone was happy.
Oh, good. Well, everyone's got to have a hobby.
Yeah. I like wine.
Why not smell and tasting stuff?
It's one of your 10 senses.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is a rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm. Timing. Sense of timing. That's a thing.
And we should probably move it along then.
There you go. You got my my little soft jab.
Well, you can always segue.
So, hobby desk.
Yeah.
What you got, Adam? Because you'll do all the heavy lifting on this one, I guarantee.
Yeah, I got. I had some fun.
Mhm.
I spent some time doing some personal stuff. I rounded out a few little commissions, and it was just good. It was a good time. I had a busy life stuff going on, and so like trips to KW.
No?
And so the little projects that I did were quite refreshing and fun to do. So I decided I'm just gonna maybe do a small Necron army.
That's awesome.
Stealing my
They
idea.
look great, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah. So and Paul, you'll be proud of me.
Mhm.
Every single one of those models is converted.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing the stand-up?
So they're all walking warriors.
Yeah, I did that with one guy and was like, no.
So what, do you just sort of slice them up a bit so they can stand up straight?
Yeah, there's about 7 or 8 cuts on each pair of legs.
Because they're really squatty otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. There's some. We've got them here live in person.
Neat.
And then I gave them the short barrels, so I cut out the bit where the glowing rod goes, the plastic rod, and gave them kind of the snub nose SMG look.
Yeah, little shotties.
That's kind of cool.
And then about 50% of them have some kind of damage on them, so whether their arms are blown off or use guitar string as like limbs that are just in pieces and stuff. And so for all those dudes, they all have like a scarab or two kind of starting to swarm around them to activate their reanimation protocols.
Right.
So that was fun.
What's the scheme you're gonna do? Just the
Not sure 100% yet on color scheme.
You're gonna go. Are you thinking you might go tradish or like right out of something really creative?
So I have 2 ideas. One for each of those.
Yeah.
So one is kind of just traditional, just straight up like metal, but do it like really, really, really nice. Spend a lot of time, make it high contrast, but also very battle worn. And so thinking about that. And then the other one I was going to do is kind of like a spin-off of the Sons of Horus turquoisey color scheme from 30K, and same thing. So very turquoisey and orange as kind of like a Mefreet playoff, because I may go Mefreet for my dynasty. And they do like a Catechin green kind of thing.
I really like that the Mefrit Dynasty color scheme.
It's a little bland as is out of the book, but
I think if you highlight it, like if you just brought the contrast up on it on the green, you would get.
That's why I want to go with a turquoise twist.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just a little twist.
Just twist it a little to the turquoise side.
They're your space mummies, man.
Yeah. So.
I also like. Looks like you did a press mold to get your scarabs up.
Yeah. So they're called scarab swarms, and I feel like the model should fit the description there, the name. And so I made a little green stuff press mold and pressed out a whole bunch of scarabs, like a lot of scarabs. I think it was like 50 scarabs out of the 12 that came in the box that I had access to. So
The green stuff mold is like the VHS tape of hobbying.
Yeah. It's the
You're probably not supposed to record it. There's like an FBI warning at the beginning of everything.
Yeah, it's definitely like the bootleg scene.
But at the same time, you're gonna have so many more cool scarabs.
that's it.
Heck yeah.
That's
Look at
it.
you breaking the law.
So
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it is, to be honest.
it's not breaking the law if you don't sell
them.
them. Right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, sure, man.
Yep. I'm sidetracking us again, so we
Yeah.
gotta segue back.
Yeah. So what else did you get done hobby wise, Adam?
Yeah. I did a Blood Bowl team.
No
Nice.
way. For
Yeah.
yourself?
Nope.
Oh.
No, that was a fun little. So it was a third party undead one. So and they're all pewter. The castings were okay. The company could probably amp their game up a little bit on the detail, but they were fun.
Third party?
Yeah.
In the age of high definition plastic Games Workshop Blood Bowl kits?
Yeah.
That's good. That's nice.
Yeah. And they're just like I said, they're just fun little kits. They had undead stuff from a whole bunch of different races, which was good. So some undead dark elves, undead orc, undead beastmen. Yeah, which was kind of fun. And so that was cool. What else did I do? I know I did other things. I got some Death Guard sitting on the shelf there. I did a bunch of Tau. There's no pictures of either of these. Kind of waiting for the pictures to scroll through. can't remember what else. Well, hey, let's just call it at that.
Yeah.
So, anybody else?
I finished painting and assembling that Dorn for that client.
You're in the commission game too?
Yeah, like just small commissions. I, without the airbrush, like I just can't match the
The volume?
Yeah, so I'll just like do Baroque commissions, bespoke models.
Just very fancy one-offs.
Well, yeah, so I did a Dorn,
Nice.
and I blocked out all the black on those Terminators. There's about 10 of them, so it was just like boringly painting big swaths of like black, so I can start building it up, and to a point where once I wash everything, the wash is doing a lot more work. So yeah, it's just been that, and then a lot of like just fun outdoor time because it's now summer.
What?
So.
Sorry. Outdoors.
Yeah,
Oh.
I took a nap in a park. On
No
the weekend.
way.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. It's the best thing in the world.
Snoozing in a park?
Yeah.
I did that in the Champs-Elysees in Paris. Those are the most memorable parks snooze.
I do like the fact that,
Like someone was literally playing like an accordion nearby. It was like
that's the most
as Parisian
French,
as it
yeah,
gets.
that's
It
the
was
most French thing I've ever heard.
hilarious.
So yeah, no, just plugging away at that commission.
That's cool.
When you woke up, were you still by yourself?
Well, my wife was still with me. That was nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
But
So she kind of stood guard there? Or?
no, we were both snoozing. They had they had these like lounge chairs and stuff. It was like right near the Louvre. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's like a civilized society where.
Yeah, except they let their dogs poop everywhere. Kind of ruins it.
Have you been anywhere in this city? People let their dogs poop everywhere.
Only in the winter for some reason.
Oh no! Liberty Village is just top to bottom dog shit.
Anyway, Liberty Village is top to bottom dog shit. That is a fact. You can take that to the bank, especially the urban planning side of it. Go ahead.
There is a condo office down there, and their slogan that they have emblazoned on the window is Liberty Village. It's a neighborhood. That is such a low bar for success.
It's something.
And it's still debatable.
Absolutely. So,
How about you? You got any hobby progress?
well,
Desk progress?
my hobby desk is actually filled with models I am frantically not taking photographs of so that I can put on eBay, so that I can sell them, so that I can pay this guy, Adam Truax at Battle Bros Painting, to do my massive... It's funny, I have like... How many points to tell you think you have already come through your hands? Like 4-ish thousand?
Probably.
It's gross. But it was all 7th edition good stuff, and I'm on the TC team.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they were making fun of me or, trying to cajole me into doing something stupid, but a very Fire Warrior heavy list was suggested, and I think it's actually a great core for a Tau army, and you actually don't see it. You don't see it. So Adam will do horrible things to himself for money, and so I farmed it out, and I'm in the process. If you need a 2-year-old gaming PC or some nicely painted Tyranids, keep an eye on Kijiji and eBay, and that'll be my hobby progress.
You're such a snake.
I am a
love
snake.
It. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, that's how he funds his hobby. So.
It's true, and that money is coming my way, so
And then it feeds his baby.
that's a good thing. That's what we all love, is babies that have food in their bellies.
Right. And also Adam does an amazing job, so even if you don't have a massive job for him, I highly recommend his work.
Thank you, sir. And just to be clear, how many Fire Warriors are we painting?
Well, it started at a bigger number, but we got her down to 120.
A lot of Fire Warriors.
120. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul, can I just show you something
Yeah.
real quick?
Yeah.
This arrived in the mail, and that's just over half of them.
Hot damn.
Are there 8 boxes?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, some fell down the side.
Oh, good.
Sorry, that
Okay.
wasn't even all of them.
I was concerned.
Yeah.
And then actually, it's the first time I've ever managed to convince Adam to compromise on his quality.
Oh, really?
Should I say that out here? I don't know.
No, you shouldn't. Cut that out.
Your army is our army.
He recorded a new one recently.
I know.
Oh, it was big. I
Yeah.
fist pumped when that happened.
I've been asking for that for about a year. Oh, come on. No.
Well, you did have your 8th edition promo for pretty much a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, I took advantage of it
gone.
at least twice. So.
Yeah. Well, it's done now.
Yeah, it's over. No
Yeah.
more love. Anyway, so that's my hobby progress: farming out and raising funds.
I mean, yeah, it's all part of the hobby.
Is it?
Sure.
Why not?
I mean, yeah, we did establish rules that buying models doesn't count.
Well, I didn't actually buy anything.
Yeah, selling models sorts of counts.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just winging it here.
Is it?
folks.
Sure. I mean,
The truth would have. I mean, the truth would
Is
have
this
been.
rules as intended or rules as written?
Yeah.
If I were to actually tell my hobby progress, it'd be nothing.
yeah, well, so we
sucked.
had to give him
I've
something.
sucked for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah,
I painted like 3 Shadespire guys like 2 months ago, and I've talked about it at least 3 times on different shows. So
There are different podcasts. Don't listen to him.
I plug other shows on other shows,
Okay.
just not yours.
Wait. Yeah, so you see, we followed your career.
The one that made you, the show that made you.
Forged in the inches and cubes.
Like, it's more cubes than inches, if you ask
You
me.
know what I'm saying?
No,
But hey, you know
no,
what?
me.
I am honored that
It's warm in here.
It's very, very, very hot.
I did feel honored when he said Pablo listened to our podcast.
Yes,
So there
yeah.
you go.
I shared it on the feed, and Pablo of another podcast, Paul,
You can say the name.
Chapter Tactics.
Just don't kiss me.
We like making friends.
There you go. He listened into it. It was the first one I was ever on here, and we did. There was actually a Chapter Tactics episode that used the show notes of Inches and Cubes.
Can you believe that?
So
Frontline Gaming ripping off of
Frontline
Encounter
Gaming.
Warrior right here.
and me, Simon, aka Val Heffelfinger, ripping off that content. And then from there, I got to do stuff on Chapter Tactics frequently once he brought on some regular co-hosts. So it's me, for some reason, Jeff in Control Robinson, who's an actual person on Twitch, and Abuse Puppy, who's another cool guy.
Sure.
So if it wasn't for you guys giving me a shot,
Hey, listen,
I wouldn't be talking to other people and recording it about.
I don't know how to process that information.
You guys
I
got
love it.
I love it. Got a big gig.
We got some. We're just gonna keep launching people into stardom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know,
2 years from now, Marco is going to own Walmart.
that's it.
own. That's a high bar.
Mm-hmm.
Although Amazon could just put them in the ditch and then
That would be pretty fun.
maybe you'll just buy them out of receivership.
You know what's like kind of terrifying though is that like Amazon now has the power to just ruin the economy.
Yeah, well, that's capitalism's going to be strained by the economies of scale that we're witnessing.
But
On
that's
that
neither
note-
here nor there.
Let's open another beer for that.
Yep. Oh god.
Cracking another brew already. That's
Yeah.
fast. We're not even in games
Oh.
played.
Yeah, when you're drinking, you know,
Angels and
Oh,
apricots.
100 mils.
Oh, actually, I don't mind that one bit.
The second one that Adam
I
has
do declare.
is Angels and Apricot, an oak-aged gose with apricots.
So this is the one you're not gonna like.
Yeah, this is probably going to taste like perfume.
I know that taste.
Let me pour them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And while Adam's doing that, I'll go ahead and start telling you about a game I played.
Ooh.
So Saturday, I did my league game with Darren. That's your glass.
Oh.
I'm not sharing glasses.
Except I mean,
I need you to take that seriously. No, I played Darren from the club, and I brought out the Necrons again, just because they're the most fun army, especially compared to Space Marines right now.
I'm so pleased that you chose not to sell that army.
Yeah, me too.
Like, you were on the... And I remember calling you out for that.
Yeah.
And being like, you sure you want to sell that right now?
I was like, no, maybe.
Well, you were pretty committed, and then the Codex came out. And
Mhm.
you're like, fun, fun, fun.
Yeah, oh my god, that is a salty beer.
Salt?
Since you said that, I'll just interrupt the story. This is a 3-block again, so same brewery, and it is oak aged. If you didn't hear that in the reading of the name, so this barrel aged sour I don't think I've ever had before, which intrigued me.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It's just that you would want food with it.
Ooh, wow,
And-
there it goes.
Yeah.
That is... We were talking about those sour gumballs that just made... Woo!
Yeah.
Warheads?
Not quite. But yes, close to that.
Mm-hmm.
Going on?
Anyway.
But yeah, so Darren, I played my usual Necron list, bumped up to 2,000, so I added in a Night Scythe, a Night Scythe, and what else? I think a Night Scythe and an extra Cryptek. Who's asking to see that?
Nix 2709 wanted to see a picture of the beer label.
I don't know who that is. But yeah, so I brought out my regular Necrons. He brought Space Marines. He had Gilliman, Cassius, a unit of aggressors, 5 units of scouts, or 4 units of scouts, a librarian, an apothecary, a ancient, and then in a separate detachment of Dark Angels, 3 units of interceptors? What are they called?
Which one's? The one that drops down?
Yeah, the Primaris guys with the jump packs.
Yeah, okay.
And
Inceptors,
sure. And with all plasma and a lieutenant with them. And we played the Maelstrom cards, which super fun. I really like. I've kind of turned my opinion completely around on those after trying them a couple of times. And I managed to... I screwed myself out of a win because I mispositioned something last turn. I Veil of Darkness all the way on the opposite side of the table, and I meant to go into his deployment zone for Line Breaker and win by 1, and I just didn't do it, and I drew. But I was able to redeploy with the Deceiver and kind of like pen him in and just make him deal with me. The Wraiths, the Wraith Bomb that I always do, I didn't realize that he had taken... I didn't realize that he was running guys as aggressors. He proxied them and didn't let me know. But he sent me his list, and I looked over it. But then I looked at the... he was using Incessor models as aggressors.
Oh, that's
so
not
I
nice.
charged them, and they get to fire twice in Overwatch, which is one of my favorite things to do, right next to Gilliman. So he got, I think 24 hits in Overwatch with bolters.
Those are the guys who like bolters, so they put some bolters on top of their bolters?
Mm-hmm, and then they have grenades that are bolters.
Yeah.
And they managed to just, wipe out 1 Wraith in combat, and I killed them pretty handily after that.
Wait a minute, so none of the Wraiths died?
1 Wraith died to Overwatch, which is not bad.
Not bad.
But then he had a librarian who was packing Null Zone. So he...
Oh my.
Yeah. So he was like, bloop, no invuln, and just took him down.
That's sad.
Well, he took him down with Gilliman, but...
Oh, yeah.
And,
that's fun.
Yeah, Gilliman just... Playing against Gilliman's so boring. It's like, oh, I've got 9 shots. Here's 9 hits. Here's 9 wounds.
Yeah.
And it's...
Did he just shoot them dead, or did he, wade into them and fight them?
He shot them and then waded in and, killed the last one.
Because Gilliman, when he's not just yelling at Storm Ravens to shoot harder, he's a badass. He can go out and beat some face and, do cool stuff.
Yeah.
And also die tragically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so...
Well, I have a story for you on that, but I'll tell it after.
But I managed to keep him penned in just by virtue of, throwing the Wraiths in first turn, and the Praetorians were just going around getting objectives, because they can move pretty far. And, yeah, it basically came down to objectives. There was one point in the game where he had pushed out of the pen and was, sort of coming towards the middle of my flank. I just kind of abandoned one flank and just firmed up on the table right and middle. And he started coming at me with Gilliman, but he had put Gilliman out front, so I was able to get a couple of pot shots off at him. I knew I was going to kill him, but I feel like a lot of players, when you wound their big monster leader man, they kind of retract it back and play a lot more conservatively for the next turn. So I was able to give him a bloody nose and just kind of move everything away and start like getting the objectives and the cards that I had pulled. Also, with the destroyers, I managed to position in a really nice way. So Cassius was the closest model, and I was able to blow up a character, getting the assassination Maelstrom card. So it was like, a lot of positioning and just the fact that my Necron army is like weirdly super fast.
Yeah, you even said that about them during the Index days.
Yeah.
They were fast.
Oh, I've always just tried to make them that way.
Yeah.
Like, I think that people have an idea that Necrons are like, oh, they move 5 inches. It's like, yeah, no, they're super fast if you want them to be.
Cool.
What dynasties you in?
I did the Mephrit on 1 detachment, and then whichever one gives you the automatic 6 advance. Which, again, I think I'm going to drop for something else, because it's like Wraiths, Scarabs, and Destroyers in that detachment. So I think there's a more effective one.
Cool.
Because the Wraiths don't need the advance, because they redeploy outside of 12 inches.
Are you bringing the Decrons to the RTT on Saturday?
This Saturday?
Yeah.
Wait, what's happening this Saturday?
The Knuckler.
The Knuckler's this Saturday that you're signed up for.
Yes. Yes, I will.
Okay. It's 1,500 points for the record.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, how about you? So anyways, yeah, I managed to draw, but I was playing, like, it was a very friendly atmosphere. He's a great opponent. A lot of like, teachable moments and learnable moments for me, like, about the Necrons. Just where it was a pretty chill game. So, yeah, ton of fun. I recommend playing that dude anytime you get a chance.
I'll just do a really quickie because I haven't, since the Can-Hammer Team tournament, which was the end of April, I haven't played a single game. But there was a game moment that made me think of you, Mr. Fowler. Mm-hmm. It was in the penultimate game or matchup period. So it was a team tournament environment, and you had five players on 5 players. Mm-hmm. And you basically go through all the lists, and you try and decide, what matchups you want. And there was one guy who was running Marines, Space Marines. First of all, who cares? Second of all, it was, I believe, it wasn't Imperial Fists, it was Crimson Fists, because I think they had Pedro Cantor, is that right?
Yeah.
Does that sound right? So, kind of in Fowler's zone, but not quite. And so, someone asked me, what chapter tactics do they have? And I said, who cares? And I will tell you, we threw Mr. Matt Schnarr, in these parts known as the nicest tier list player around. He was forced to play the evilest list in 8th edition thus far, which was, I think we had 6 Flying Hive Tyrants, and some Hive Guard, and 3 or 4 Malwalks, and just a real party. And Mr. Schnarr got tabled by Crimson Fist, Aggressor, Bolter, Spam. And it really sucked for him. And I just want to let you know that apparently Bolter Drill and rerolling 1s and shooting a bunch of Strength 4 shots, it's got some moves.
Oh yeah, no, Pedro adds a ton of effectiveness.
Yeah. What does he do? We would have really loved him known at the time.
He's a chapter master. So
Right.
you're rerolling all your hits.
All hits.
You throw in a lieutenant, you're rerolling all your hits, you're rerolling your wounds.
Yeah, there was probably at least one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a banner too of some kind.
Yeah,
probably that one that lets you shoot. Yeah,
and that's the thing about the Imperial Fists is that they only have one character, and he's sort of his purposes are split. Lysander is a great beat stick who also buffs shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, cool. Like, why are you like this?
Okay.
But Pedro, he comes packing.
Also, his name's Pedro.
Yeah. He's named after one of the early
cool.
game designers.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And he his Stormbolter kicks ass. He's got a power fist that he is hitting on 3s in combat, but
it's fine.
Yeah.
It seemed to work out. So, anyway, made me think of you, Paul. That is not even my game played.
Alright, well, maybe I can rejigger the fist list.
Fist list.
I do want to get a tattoo of a fist wearing a crown.
Sure. Do you have other tattoos?
Maybe.
Do you, though?
Do I?
I don't know.
I don't.
No, I don't think so. I thought the tattoo topic has been broached, and I was pretty sure that there were no tattoos on any of you.
I have a tattoo, actually.
Oh, damn.
It's my face.
Like the, oh, man.
Steva?
Yes, thank you.
It's-
Wow, you're always right there with me.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's why I make a good host. I can read minds.
Right?
Adam, you got some games that you played?
Yeah, so I played one. It was before the last podcast that I phoned in. I called it sick for.
Get close to the mic.
And then I have one that I played yesterday.
Ooh, fresh.
So yeah, so I'll start yesterday because who knows about the faded memories of games past. Yesterday I played Phil. Went to his house, had a good time, filmed it for the channel. So if you are a channel follower, you will have a game that does not have any, does not have 50 nerds in the background screaming and yelling. So there you go, good audio quality on that one. Check it out. Yeah, I played against Drew Kari, 1,500 points. It was a warm up for the Knuckler coming up this Saturday.
Heyo.
For him, I kind of cobbled a list together last minute because I haven't figured my list out yet. And
What faction?
I was doing Space Marines.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm thinking I might go Sisters for the Knuckler. We'll see.
Oh boy.
Not sure. Anyway, so I took Gilliman, 2 units of Hellblasters, 3 units of Scouts to get the battalion. I took a Captain and a Librarian, the Banner, of course, 3 Aggressors, and a Redemptor Dreadnought.
Why
So
not?
yeah, because lots of bullets and Gilliman is a good thing. And then he got the first turn. We practiced the ITC mission, which was good. So we took our time just to make sure we were doing it right to prepare for all the record keeping on Saturday. Because you want to get fast at that, so it doesn't take away from your game time. Which it doesn't actually take too long if you're comfortable with it. So it was good to just get a warm up on that.
It does help you also always think about scoring stuff. Put scoring really at the top of your mind.
Yeah, which was helpful because that's how I kept Phil on his toes for the whole game. So
what was in the Drew Carey part?
Yeah, he did 2 Ravagers. He had 3 squads of dudes flying around in Raiders. He had two detachments. One was a Outrider with a massive unit of witches, Lilith Hesprax, and probably a couple. It was probably Scourges, the flying dudes with the guns.
Yep. Scourges.
Scourge.
Scourge.
Scourge, you Scrooge.
Oh, come on. Get good.
That's what the cool Atlanta rappers say in the background of their rap songs now.
Skirt. Tell me more about your games. 2 chains out of list.
And then a couple of Archons. And so something's happening.
No,
He's
you
getting
just
excited.
Keep talking your thing.
Yeah, okay, cool. Here we go. So the game, he got first turn. He did have a couple less drops. He got first turn. I tried to hide some stuff, but he's so fast. He got a bead on my Redemptor, blew it up first turn, along with basically all my Hellblasters, which was heartbreaking. Not gonna lie, it was tough to recover from that. But I still managed to lead him in points for the first 3 turns, which is why I focus on the points. It matters. I was making him sweat, and Gilliman gave him a hard time. So we were playing. They were playing the mission with 5 objectives, and the bonus was if you had characters on 3 of them, you got the bonus point.
Yep.
So I managed to, just kill more and hold more for a couple turns, and that's what kept me above in points. So that was good. Definitely made him sweat, made him put his witches far out to take my back objective, which my Warlord was sitting on, kind of regenerating my command points for me because I was playing Ultramarines. And so that huge unit of witches and a character dropped all the way back there to take care of scouts. And then I just kept capping that one, which was great. and Gilliman held the very center of the table objective, and a librarian tried to fight it out with Lilith Hesprax and an Archon, and it just didn't go well. So Gilliman had to retract and kind of go after them and take care of them. Just pushing mortal wounds through the 2-up invulnerable save on the Archon to kill him.
Booyah.
Yeah, that's what we do. Got to roll those 6s.
Yeah, nice 2-up.
Yeah. 2-up invul is dirty.
Yeah, it is. Unless you're mortal wounding him.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. So, gotta love that Emperor's sword. I mean, he's not using it, I guess.
No.
So there we go. So I did end up losing, though, which was unfortunate. I got tabled. He still only had 1 point over me at the point of tabling me, so it wasn't bad. I felt like I made him sweat, and that made me feel good about just getting used to ITC and tracking the scores, playing those missions, playing that style of game. And so I'm excited to really like carve out a stronger list and knuckle on Saturday.
Get knuckled. How'd you feel about 1,500 points?
It's good. I love small games because they force you to make tactical decisions, and you can do less spamming.
It's not that much smaller either.
It's 25% smaller.
It's 25% smaller.
That's huge.
That's huge.
I mean, no, it's not huge.
It's pretty huge.
It's huge.
If I was 25% bigger, I'd be, I don't know, a lot fatter.
Yeah, you'd be a great big dude. I mean,
So the emphasis on a lot there.
I like 1,500 points, just because when you kill something, you're like, well, I don't have to worry about that, as opposed to at 2K, when you kill something, you're like, well, there's probably something else on the list that does exactly that thing.
Yeah. I also, for like competitive stuff, I always feel like tighter is better. Always more competitive. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Aussie Rules Football, but there's like 100 guys on the field, and it's like, what the hell's going on here, guys?
Yeah, it looks like an army fighting an army.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, I wouldn't go with awesome. I think that kind of undermines my point. You know, there's...
I've actually watched games live before. Because I've been there.
It's chaotic.
It's amazing.
Okay. Bad example.
Yeah.
All right, the CFL's got 12 players on each side. It's too many. Okay? You might want to make it tight. 11 men aside. Or, yeah. I'm petering out here, guys.
Sports metaphor.
Sparks.
So the point is, 1,500 points is great. It's leaner. There's a lot less spam, and you got to make tight decisions. I mean, especially on a 6x4 table still. So there you go.
Yeah.
My other game was against Mortarion. I finished a Mortarion for a customer, and he immediately was like, "Oh, let's play." And so I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And so he brought Mortarion and some other named Great Unclean one, and another Great Unclean one.
At least it was obvious as to what you had to kill.
Yeah. I mean, I only knew that
All of
after
it?
we took our models out.
You'll play anything, though.
I will play anything.
That's right.
And we had a great time. So I think this was a full 2,000. I actually brought, I knew he was bringing Mortarion, and not gonna lie, I was terrified of Mortarion. So I took 2 detachments, one of Sisters and one of Space Marines.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I took the 2 heavy hitters. I took Gilliman and I took Celestine. We were smack talking for like 3 weeks on this game, and so I knew we were gonna do a hard battle. So I took the 2 big baddies, and he was basically doing a demon detachment. So like a huge unit of plague bearers, plague drones, bunch of units of nurglings, and I threw Celestine in his face and just tied up the massive unit of plague bearers.
She's just like a handful of dirt. They just like,
Yeah.
and they're like, ah! And, you know, once she's dead for the first time, you're all up in their business.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
Yeah. So I took out the character because I just managed to jump. I killed a whole bunch of plague bearers, and he pulled dead models out to create a pocket for Celestine to fly into to assassinate the character that like buffs them like crazy to give them like 6 damage per hit and a whole bunch of stupidness. So I took that guy out and then just tar pitted the plague bearers the whole game while Mortarion and the big unit of plague drones just fought scout unit after scout unit, like speed bumping them while I just kept doing my mid-range shooting because because that, I don't know, I just like armies that have mid-range shooting, I guess, which is totally a fault, and I need some long-range shooting real bad.
You like mid-range shooting and characters that don't die.
Yeah.
Like that
Sounds legit.
Yeah, sure. And it half works. So Anyways, we played a Maelstrom game, and so the cards just kept coming up. Good for both of us sometimes, bad for both of us other times. Mortarion finally got into my lines at the end of the game, and I parked a repressor right in front of Gilliman so that he couldn't be charged. And he was squished between a building and a repressor tank, and like another screening unit.
Just couldn't get within an inch of him?
He couldn't get within an inch, and then I countercharged Mortarion with Gilliman and
brave.
Put the Emperor's sword through his back.
I mean, it is kind of badass thinking of, like, Gilliman using a grav tank as, like, a shield, and then just like, po!
Yeah.
Axing him in the face.
No, I was actually the Sisters of Battle repressor tank.
Oh!
Not the repulsor.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you're right. The Imperium naming, they have issues. Such a noob. Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. Live on the internet, too.
So yeah, we ended up tying on the nose at the end of the game. And we were sitting there counting up points. We recounted it like 3 times, and we were like, what the heck? All that smack talk? I painted this guy for this game for you, and I was totally terrified of Mortarion this whole time, and now we drew, and it was kind of anticlimactic, but it was still fun. We had a great time. It went back and forth emotionally. He would drop down a big demon, and I'd blow it up, and he'd feel sad, and then I'd feel sad because Mortarion did something ridiculous. And
he's a blender. I love Mortarion.
But
assuming he can live long enough.
Yeah, like in a straight shit fight though, it's Gilliman every time.
Really?
I think so.
Because of the army he brings with him, right? And the way he buffs it and multiplies it.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 units of 4 last cannons, Mortarion's dead by the time you say, right?
Gilliman is basically the modern, Skyhammer Annihilation Force, where it's like, oh, look at all these free buffs that everything good already gets. Like, I'm not complaining. But
sounds like you're complaining.
No, I'm just saying. That, they keep, inching his points.
They've jacked his points up repeatedly.
I wouldn't call it jacked.
He's up 50 points from the index.
50 whole points.
Yeah. And what percentage would that be of his original amount?
15? Ish?
Yeah, it's not huge.
What was it,
350? 350. You're the math guy. Your numbers. And
well, I mean, 350. Yeah, okay, it's not 25.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Gilliman's good.
He's very, very good.
I mean, he's no Pedro Cantor.
No.
So, when do we take a break?
We're taking a break now.
Battle Brothers Studios is a commission painting studio in Toronto, Canada. We want you to walk into the battlefield looking your best. So, if you're having trouble getting all your minis painted, or are in a big rush to get some stuff done for that next event, then let us know. Facebook.com/Battle Brothers Studios for a free quote, and inquire also about our 2018 deals. This year, running a 10% discount on any new release item from any miniature company. That's pretty cool, so send us a message. Hello everybody, this is Adam.
And I'm Jay.
And we are in Counter Wargaming.
And we wanted to celebrate hitting our 1,500 subscribers and give back to all of you who helped us get here.
Super exciting. So we call this the 2,500 subscriber Forgebane giveaway.
That's right, because we're giving away a Forgebane box.
Woohoo!
But in order to give it away, we have to hit our 2,500 subscriber goal.
Makes sense. All right, so first things first. Share this.
Share the podcast with your friends.
Share our videos.
Yeah.
Share anything you want. So there you go. Multiple ways to enter.
Right.
Number 1.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Woohoo! That'll get you 1 entry. Number 2. Follow on Twitch for 1 more entry.
Also, you can support us on our Patreon campaign, and that'll get you 5 entries.
Wow. All right. And hey, guess what? If you subscribe on Twitch, you get 5 more entries.
Damn. And lastly, for all of you who are listening to the podcast right now, go on and leave us a review, and we'll get you 1 more entry.
Bonus. Guys, this is a big thank you for all the support that you have given us over the last couple years.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone out there for making this a wild ride for us. Hopefully we can give one of these boxes to one of you lucky people.
Sweet. Hey, remember to share, and we will see you at our next encounter.
G'day. How are you now? Tried to paint a mini the other day. Realized my brushes were drier than a Saskatoon field in May. So I did what any reasonable man in his mid-30s would do, and I hopped over to thewarpainter.com to resupply. Thewarpainter.com is Canada's greatest hobby store for all things hard to find. Scale 75, Broken Toad, The Army Painter, and Valet Ho. All supporters of Encounter Wargaming get 10% off their first order with the code EWG10. They got you covered.
And we're back after a lengthy
Sidebar.
Yeah. So if you want to see that, sign up for the Patreon.
We had a good discussion on the London GT, the spirit of the game, good sportsmanship, and Warhammer bullies.
Old Val Heffelfinger popped off about all sorts of named people out there.
So
Just talk some shit.
it's worth the $1.
Yeah, it was some real hot shit.
$1.
One whole dollar. You can set any limit you like.
I'm not a Patreon.
You could do
I should
45.
really do that.
You could do $150 per video if you want.
You could.
I mean, I would love to have like, I don't know,
$80 million. So
Yeah.
you could do that.
just some like crazy person just be like, I'm gonna do $1,000 per video for like 2 years. Just like blow someone's mind.
Yeah.
And like nothing that I even care about.
People do that on Twitch. They have like, you can search it on YouTube, just like crazy Twitch donation reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Someone
somebody
gives
splashes the pot?
Yeah, they just give someone like $5,000 and they just catch them freaking out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So, anyways,
That's that kind of nice stuff we were talking about in that.
See, I wouldn't even freak out. I'd be like, where's the other 5?
let's make it an even 10 there, pal.
Yeah.
We know you're holding back.
Who's gonna match?
A minute for the cash.
Right?
But actually, why we're here, though, is we're talking about Elysians. Because it's kind of looking like they're circling the drain over at Forgeworld.
I circled and down the drain. Gone. They were last chance to buy, I don't know, like a month ago?
Yep.
And I'm part of a Elysian group on Facebook. Recently made a secret group, I think. Or maybe just closed. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
We kept the plebes out.
Did it fill out a 3-question survey to gain access?
I don't know, but yeah, that's cool how some of them do that now.
Yeah, we do that with...
Filter out the bots.
Yeah.
But anyway, that the news started circulating a little bit through the group, and by that I mean someone posted the fact that the entire Elysian range had become last chance to buy, and it has been a slow death for the Elysian range. I think the first thing that went was their ground scanner, and then some of like their special weapon troops went away, and then I think the one of the Venators went down, which is like their dune buggy.
Yep.
Um,
Not a Torox. There's a
Tauros.
Tauros. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the Tauros assault vehicle and the Tauros Venator. The Venator, I think, hung in there till the end. That's the one with the last cannons on it. But the one with the flamer and the grenade launcher, it vanished. And then they were always asking questions. Is it coming back? Is it going to come back, guys? And Forgeworld was like, yeah, we're just remaking the molds, guys. It's all good. And then somebody, like, dramatically went...
Ooh,
explosion.
Sloppy.
so I'm opening up a Muskoka Brewery unfiltered craft lager.
Lovely.
So,
This is going to have some good copy.
like the region it's from, all our malt Muskoka craft lager is a getaway from the average. That's because it's carefully aged and handcrafted to be uniquely flavorful, yet remarkably easy drinking. Check your date code, as our beer is best fresh, a result of our pure, natural, unfiltered brewing process. So it's got no preservatives. A foghorn on a lake.
Just the Homer Simpson.
So this is just a delicious, real light, drinkable beer.
Except I hate lagers.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
You don't like that top fermenting yeast? Or is it bottom? I always forget.
I don't care.
I think it's top with lagers.
It's because in Canada, the first thing you get wasted on is a lager.
Oh, really? Not Smirnoff Ice?
No, it's Mike's hard.
Yeah.
But like Molson Canadian. Yeah, well. It's good to get like lagers and you won't share glasses.
Well,
Anywho, tastes like drinking in a park.
There you go. That's
Muskoka for you.
Uh huh.
Right?
It smells like it tastes like drinking in a chair that's supposed to be called something else. They're Adirondack chairs,
Very,
okay?
very deep seated.
Those obtuse.
That's sort of my deal.
So continuing on, Elysian Fields forever.
Yeah.
Right.
So first off, the Elysian Fields.
Yeah, can you take me, talk about the reference that's being made there.
When a hero dies,
Yes.
he or she is allowed to, if they have lived a great life, according to Greek mythology, instead of spending it in the shitty underworld, they are able to go into the Elysian Fields.
That's where Russell Crowe goes.
Yeah, that's where he's feeling the wheat.
God! Guys, I hope you're with me on this journey of learning.
Yeah, so it's Greek mythology. It's where heroes go. It's a sky place. So now we have these. Let's define what an Elysian drop trooper is before we get into what happened or after.
Absolutely.
So the Elysians are. We've mentioned them on the podcast before, but they're the high-speed operators of the Imperial Guard before Scions and as adjuncts to stormtroopers. They use high-altitude insertion. They're usually dropped behind enemy lines, and their entire combat doctrine is to overwhelm small points and objectives and hold them very briefly until such time that they are supported by other Imperial forces.
Which never happens.
Never, ever happens in the fluff.
No.
So the joke...
Just the drop part.
Right. The drop, the thing is...
It's a bridge too far. It's
Exactly.
like everything they do is a bridge too far.
They always succeed and then die. Because, that's the thing. If you read, in the Amphibian Project, which we'll get into a little bit more...
The best project.
They have, one job, and they do it, and then no one else helps them, and then they are overwhelmed.
Correct.
And unsupported, they don't bring the heavy armament that the Imperial Guard normally do.
Yeah.
Simply because they're usually dropped out of planes, and Lehman Russes don't really do so well from high orbit.
I'm pretty sure
Or low
they
orbit.
get there somehow.
Well, they don't run Russes.
No, I know. But I mean, I think it's funny. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The line I think was, Elysians became fleshed out around the same time as the original, and I learned this researching this. The Valkyrie was originally a resin Forgeworld kit. Mm-hmm. Was not always a plastic kit.
Yeah.
And there was an original plastic resin version of the Vulture
as well.
which I one has gone through my hands secondhand once.
They're really nice.
I still own a resin Forgeworld Valkyrie.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's heavy. And also because Forgeworld back in the day when this line was created was more of more like a scale modelers type product. So there were a lot of cool accessories Elysians that were just sitting in the back of the Valkyrie.
Yeah.
So you could get these little inserts where it was the dudes just on the bench ready to go. So you could get interiors for your Valkyries and that kind of stuff. But getting back to the actual Elysians, go ahead.
Getting back to the fluff, the Elysians are unique, very, very unique, especially in the Grimdark, because all of the drop troopers are a volunteer force. That is nigh unheard of in the Grimdark. So you serve in the Elysian PDF around the system. They have various planets. They're according to the fluff 30 light years away from Armageddon.
Yeah.
And they serve in the PDF, and it's a beleaguered system, like every system in 40K. And they then you volunteer into the Elysian drop troops, which is nuts. So these guys are highly trained. They're supposed to be way more... everyone's rated as a marksman because they don't carry as much ammunition. Supply lines are cut off or non-existent. So they have to make every shot count. In the Amphibian Project, there's a offshoot of the Elysians called D99, which is a testing ground for... imagine a bridging program between Guard and Space Marines.
Well, I think they're just messed up mutant dudes.
Yeah, they're jacked up.
Yeah.
They're engineered.
They're just stuff being thrown at the wall in an effort to kill Tyranids.
Yeah.
You know?
So these guys are jacked up even more so than your average soldier. But yeah, so that's kind of how they exist. It's again, the volunteer force thing blows my mind.
Yeah.
They don't have the same exact command structure either. There's few, if any, commissars.
Mm-hmm.
It's everyone's led from the front sort of deal.
They also have, like you were mentioning, the Tempestus Scions. They're actually adjuncts to the Elysian, so like because they also do grab, shoot, and insertion, all that kind of stuff. So you can have very fluffy armies that are hybrids of Elysian drop troops and Scions.
Yeah.
And Scions have always, except for in the most modern book, have always been like a core element of the Elysian army lists. You could always bring Scions if you wanted.
Cool.
And when you say Scions, are you referencing back to the old Stormtroopers?
Yeah, Stormtroopers. Yeah. Guys who could, guardsmen who could deep strike and have hotshot las guns.
Got it.
And then looking at the design elements, they don't really have a historical precedent other than, like, I don't know, maybe SEAL Team 6, like that.
What, the way they look?
Yeah, they're like high-speed space soldiers as opposed to, like...
They have like a Starship Troopers vibe to them.
Yeah, but
like the film.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like the quilted armor is very...
Paratrooper.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they don't have a direct one-to-one like most of the Imperial Guard.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So that's something that always kind of blew my mind. Also, very few skulls.
Very few skulls, and they just kind of look like future soldiers.
Yeah, which makes them stick out in 40K.
Yeah, they look like dudes from the future who fight battles.
Not one guy has a battle axe, not one guy...
I've always loved them, but I never maybe put it together as to why. Like, they have also, so in the kits, you could get them... A lot of times they just look like guardsmen with las guns and fatigues and all that. But you can also buy them so they have their grav shoots and, like, respirator masks.
Yeah.
And so, like, as if they just jumped out of the Valkyrie, and they just look so sweet.
They do. They do. And the poses on those models are just super dynamic. Like, love it.
The scale of them is also...
Their hands are so weedy.
They're not... I don't know if heroic scale... Is that actually a thing, or is that just made up?
It's a thing.
It's
I
a
think
thing?
heroic scale is the name that...
For GW 25mm or 28mm?
Yeah. Big hands. Big heads. Big weapons.
Okay. Well, Elysians have none of those things. They are just... They look like dudes. Like, they look the right size. And actually, I think... this is actually only dawning on me right now. But there was definitely a design element of early Forgeworld to make things true scale.
Yeah. DKOK are still...
Because...
itty-bitty, too.
Because, like, Valkyries are way too big. Way too big. When you compare them to, say, a Rhino or, like, anything similar to it. Like, a Valkyrie is the proper size of a Valkyrie. You can fit 10 guys in the back of a Valkyrie. No problem.
10 Elysians.
Yeah, 10 Elysian dudes who are also made to scale. My mind has just exploded. Because, like, there was definitely a design philosophy that was not maintained because it's a terrible idea. Over time. And I feel like all the flyers also have that element, too. That flyers tend to be enormous. And I think it's probably just the ones that started out as Forgeworld kits.
Yeah, because like the Storm Eagle or any of the Space Marine things, I really feel like they're just metaphorical. Like, this is what...
Right.
This is the footprint it has in the game.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, Storm Talons, Storm Ravens.
Yeah.
That's...
No.
I mean, at least the like Thunderhawk and stuff that like can carry a Rhino is made so that it actually fits those tanks underneath it and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But let's
do
take
some favorite moments.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through a quick Amphileon project.
So when you say favorite moments, you're talking about favorite moments in the fluff?
Yes.
Go for it. Can we do another favorite moments later? Be like our favorite moments interacting with Elysians?
Sure,
I'd love to. I don't have a story like that, but so yeah, the Amphileon project is where they sort of made their name. That's where like a lot of players I know associate them with. They were also in book 8.
Their appearances in Imperial Armor.
Yeah.
So they were the first. Their first appearance is Imperial Armor 3, the Taros campaign, which is also the first, I guess, modern style IA book where it's a campaign and you've got like a Xenos and a Space Marine and a guard thing. Their second appearance would have been Imperial Armor 4, which is the Amphileon project. What? Oh, he's just not in the picture.
Yeah.
And then my favorite book, not for content but for pictures, Imperial Armor 8, the raid on Castoral Novum, in which they all die. And then apparently they're in Doom of Mimera, which was an Eldar book I tried never to look at because it was filled with horrors in 7th edition.
Yeah,
that would murder me.
that was basically a fire sale of a book.
Including Corsairs and Hornets and just everything evil was in that book.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Hornet spam with bright lances bent all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Fine Eastern quality.
Yeah. So the Amphileon Project is the name of Imperial Armor 4?
Yes, it's 4.
And it is the story essentially of Space Jurassic Park. So,
Oops.
yep. And
I just rewatched the latest one.
I haven't watched any of them.
Any of them ever?
No, I've watched like 1, 2, and 3, and then I was like, I'm good. I don't I don't care for this marketing campaign of like mining my own nostalgia and selling it back to me. Like that doesn't appeal to me because I enjoyed it the first time. So like, I still enjoy that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. Like,
Do you use WordPerfect when you're using a word processor?
I use OpenOffice. Why?
Just curious. Because I knew it wouldn't be a typewriter, but it'd be the next thing up from that.
Oh no, he was right. But okay, yeah. Amphileon Project is the oh god, what are they called? The Biologus Majos, like basically the zoologists of the Imperium.
Yeah.
They've set up a tiny little preserve on a moon of Amphileon.
Don't do it.
And they're studying the smallest Tyranid life forms.
Don't do it.
Harvested from High Fleet Kraken.
Yes.
Which had been hurting them
Yeah.
around that time.
So they're trying to figure out ways to hurt these guys, the Tyranids. And Simon brought up a really fun piece of fluff that I had overlooked, is that the Kraken rounds that the Stern Guard used to be able to use.
Special ammunition.
Yeah.
Death Guard have now.
Mm-hmm. That's where this
Death Watch.
Death Watch. Not Death
that's
Guard.
where this science came from.
There you
So I don't know.
Moon base and Amphileon.
Yeah, it works for me. But what happens is one day, all of a sudden, in one of the pens, they can't find any of the Tyranids.
Uh-oh.
So they've just disappeared. Then in another one, they started evolving wings as they were breeding, so they just purged that entire holding cell.
See, this is why you need to watch the newest Jurassic Park
Okay. I'll get on it.
for smart chameleon dinosaurs that are, of course, 1.5 times the size of a T-Rex.
Yeah, I'm super not doing that. That sounds stupid. And I don't
But
want
do they become our friends?
No, super not friends.
Oh,
Okay. So yeah, then
But there are dinosaurs that do become friends in that one. Just not the big, dirty, bad guy.
That's awesome.
Continue on, Paul.
so they realize that something's afoot, especially when gene stealers start killing people.
That's not good.
Yeah, so it's all around bad. So
And to paint the picture, they're in like a bunker moon base, which was actually made into an amazing resin terrain kit, which goes for buco denari, like thousands of dollars if you want to buy one of these things.
Yeah.
But it's this cool sort of, you can see it as probably like a lot of condensation on the windows.
yeah,
Something terrible has happened here type moon base.
yeah, it's a cross between Jurassic Park and Alien.
Yeah.
Like
Nailed
This is
it.
Aliens.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. And then the Inquisition gets called in, and Inquisitor Solomon Locke,
The
who's
baddest ass model.
of
Inquisitor.
He's just a guy with a hood and a sword,
Hood and a sword.
big voice.
If he asked me a question, I'd answer it.
So he's sent to find out what's going on. Through his authority, the Elysians are brought in because as they're getting overrun by Tyranids, there's high-speed missions that need objectives secured. A generator goes down, and all the containment fences all over the Amphibian base go down, a la Jurassic Park. Nedry is somewhere being eaten by something that spit acid in his face.
Right.
So the Elysians, they like drop in with this servitor to like fix the generator, and they get it done. They're like, "We're gonna be fine. We just gotta hold out here." And then Malocs eat them. This is also where the Maloc model was first seen.
Oh yeah,
the resin Forgeworld one.
Yeah, and all the like in the Biotitan.
So.
Oh, sorry, blew the lead.
Spoiler alert. The Red Scorpions get brought in, again, under Inquisitor Locke's authority, and they're fighting to get this, research off-planet, and, like, just... It's a lost cause at this point. It's a fighting retreat. And...
there's also a lot of depressing grimdark in the back. The Red Scorpion stuff isn't just like they're getting on and getting out. It's like... there's some heart-crushing grimdark in there. This is actually probably one of the few pieces of 40K fiction I would like highly recommend.
Oh yeah, like there's like first company guys just kind of selling their lives dearly. There's just ambushes where like things go wrong in a way that is like upsetting.
And there's also there's a bigger nefarious picture that these guys are all a part of that like they're earnestly oblivious to.
Yeah.
And that really sucks.
It does, because at one point when they're like, Solomon Locke is like, we need to stay here, we need to rescue everyone, the Red Scorpions, either acting of their own volition or on someone else's orders, just say like, no.
Deuces.
And they leave. They pack up and leave, leaving Solomon Locke there with some Cadians, the scraps of the Elysians, and whoever else was manning the project. And, this Biotitan starts coming out of the mist after the Space Marines have gone. And the combined efforts of these guys manage to, like, bring it down. So imagine your entire army fighting one of those giant cat-sized Biotitans. And it goes down, and everyone's like,
Yay!
Yeah. And then out of the fog of Amphibian comes another one. And then, like, oh, there's another one. And, like, its hooks are just, like, picking up guys and just rending them in half. And that's, like, the last thing that Solomon Locke experiences, is knowing that his superiors have left him on this planet. And he was just used.
Yeah. And he doesn't get it until the, like, bitter end.
Yeah. And there's, like, after-action reports of other Inquisitor lords just being like, yeah, this worked out about how we thought. So it's like it was maybe a training or an experiment to see if the Tyranids could be controlled, or it also became like a testing ground for the Elysian D99 troops to see how they fared in combat. Like,
I guess that's the thing in very, very multi-planet, system-wide civilizations. Like, you can lose a planet and be like, whatever.
Yeah.
And this is a moon.
Yeah. Like,
just a moon with a bunch of bugs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little bit sad.
Yeah, and I think it's just because, like, it's written really well. So, like, you relate, and there's a lot of humans in it. Like, so the center of the story is Solomon and like, the Cadians and the Elysians. And then you've got these, like, the Red Scorpions who are there, and you're like, these guys are the heroes. They're here to help us. And it's, like, rapidly apparent that they're not. And, you got all these Tyranids, which they don't quite get. The D99 dudes do, because they fought High Fleet Kraken and were almost killed to a man, and that's why they became D99. But anyway, it's well worth a read. The other two books, I don't think are nearly as high quality for, like, doubling back and reading.
No, they, like, basically the Elysian...
I'll sum them up here. Let's go with the 23rd Elysian Drop Troops Regiment took part in the assault of Fort Moros in the Taros campaign, and were wiped out in the battle for Hydroprocessing Plant 23-20 by Tau forces during Operation Comet. And then later on, we have, let's just dial it up here. Assisted 181st Elysian Drop Troop Regiment, assisted the Raven Guard in their raid against the Orcs on Castoral Novum, all but destroyed in the attack. Some survivors absorbed into 73rd Harakoni Warhawks Regiment.
There you go. So it's not all bad.
Not all bad.
I think the Harakoni Warhawks get a shout out in the newest codex.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I definitely know that I've read that.
There
recently.
are other cool grav troop drop guys that get shouted out. So they're just badass dudes.
I feel like they suffer from Worf syndrome.
Go on.
So in Star Trek Next Generation, Worf is the security officer.
Yes.
And he's the supreme badass on the Enterprise.
Okay.
So if you want to show how powerful an alien is, you show it beating up Worf. But the thing is, there's no episodes that feature Worf that don't feature his dumb son and weird bonding time, as opposed to Worf just, like, going full Logan on a room full of something. So it was basically, anytime a badass alien came, Worf's like, I got it, and then he just gets put on the ground. So I feel like... Yeah, I feel like they're getting Worfed, where it's like, yeah, these are the high-speed badass operators. They're going to drop in behind enemy lines and just...
Or maybe just being a paratrooper sucks.
Yeah, that also is true.
You know? Like, maybe it's just a thankless task, and you gotta jump out of a perfectly good airplane and wind up on the ground, and all your buddies are supposed to be right there, but they're not. They're somewhere else, around you somewhere.
One guy's shin is sticking out of his leg.
You know, it just never goes smoothly for the paratroopers in real life, IRL, and one would think in the Grimdark even worse.
Yeah, like, considering probably buying a car in the Grimdark involves losing a finger.
I recently was contemplating capitalism in the Grimdark. It exists. There's corporations referenced in Eisenhorn.
Well,
which blew my mind.
Isn't it entirely a skull-based economy?
Something like that. Anyway, and there's rogue traders, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back down to Earth on the high-flying Elysians. So why are we talking about them?
Well, they're done. It seems.
So I mean, like, I would like to highlight them as, I think we've noted that they're particularly cool because they're paratroopers in space. We do have the Wicked Scions models, but I think the Elysians also specifically are an important range because in 2005 they were the first, I think, uniquely Forgeworld force that you could buy.
Yeah, well, there's like Death Corps.
Not before
That came later.
Came later.
Really?
Yeah.
First one.
Okay.
Yeah. They had actually amazing Talarn.
Yeah, they had
rounding it because Talarn were in the Taros campaign, and so they made these models to support the campaign book. So they had stuff that like filled out the Talarn force. You can buy like Wicked Talarn heavy weapons.
The dudes riding the
Molokai Raiders,
antelope elephant things.
Yeah.
they're more like, I don't know, like plasticine slug things. They're Mukali Raider. Anyway, they're
like
really cool.
Half-baked horse.
Yeah, like a Gumby horse.
Yeah.
But the Elysians were sort of created for that, and like the original range. Actually, I don't. Do you guys know about the Wayback Machine or Wayback.com?
Where you can like check out old websites.
So it's a caching of the internet, and you can go to Forgeworld.com and the Wayback Machine in like February of 2005. And you can go and look at exactly how it was all released. So Taros campaign drops in September. And at that point, just like they do now, which is super annoying, they had released all the kits for like 8 months before the book dropped with all the rules. So I don't know if they had other stuff going on. But anyway, then they dropped the book. And they had basically the full range aside from the assault, the Taros assault vehicles. And later on, they also add the super cool, it's the Valkyrie that can pick up one of the Taros assault vehicles.
Right.
The Sky Talon.
The Sky Talon, thank you.
Yeah, not the... Yeah.
It's right there.
Just happened to have it open.
Just happened to have it open. And that was the range. That's, I guess, that's a long time now. What, 13 years?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, and that range went kind of unmodified at all for that entire stretch. And so, yeah, I think we're talking about them because
Well,
That's
that's
kind of a historic range, and it's come to an end.
and it's funny that it, unlike any other GW models, their first iteration still looks modern.
Yeah.
That's wild.
They do have a derpiness to them.
Like a little bit.
I mean, it's hard not to have a...
Guys leaning over way too far.
Yeah, a little bit too heavy for... Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
they're landing with those gravity chutes. I think is the idea.
no.
and, like,
I know the
dropping
one you're
those
talking
points.
about. There's a guy that's like looks like he's sort
I
of
think,
like
honestly, it has more to do with the assembly not being good. There's probably a vision for, like, how, like, you put those guys together.
no. There's a guy that totally looks like he's skank dancing with like his bullpup thing, and he's got like one leg bent under him, and he's kicking his foot out and
Yeah.
listening to the replacements. I bet.
Yep. So, yeah. And I think the other thing, too, that the Elysians allowed you to do was make... So, like, one of the things that blew my impressionable mind about 3 years ago when I rejoined 40K was that they had flyers now, which
all over the place.
did not exist when I left the hobby in, like, 4th edition. I guess I just missed them. And so the Elysians allowed you to make an army out of flyers, which I think is kind of a neat thing. Because they're all supposed to be jumping out of Valkyries and supported by a lot of the Aeronautica Imperialis units like the Thunderbolt, Lightning, Avenger.
Very, very frightening.
Exactly. The Marauder Destroyer and the Marauder other one. The Destroyer might be the Bomber. Anyway.
Yeah, is it just Marauder? There's one with like all last cannons.
There's one. It's all autocannons. There's
Right,
one I
right,
have.
sorry.
Sitting on my shelf. Best Kijiji find of all times.
Great models.
So beautiful.
This is actually why I own my Forgeworld Valkyrie to begin with, because it's the first time that you could actually take your flyer and put it on the table. Right? Before they had rules for flyers, which is why they started putting some models out,
Yeah.
but it would only ever pass over the table and you never leave it sitting there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how flyers originally interacted with the game?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was super weird.
Yeah.
So you would have a model that was never on the table?
Yeah.
That's genius.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like the idea that like you
Works
have
better.
Eldar like fighters.
Like fighting in a shoebox,
Yeah.
basically. I guess it's kind of like being in the Israeli Air Force.
Please no.
Well, no, seriously, like those guys get up to speed and they are already through Israel. They got to turn around immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like like Israel's the size of East York. Like it's like tiny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm not trying to start shit here. It was just they are flying F-15s in like 1,000 miles of space. They go very fast.
Yes, we'll agree with that can enter into the statement of fact.
Ipso facto, it's a lot like playing 40K flyers on a 6x4.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So, and actually how it worked was you take your flyer out, you put it on the table, aim it in the direction you want, and then literally, I think, if I remember correctly, which this may be totally not correct at all, but then you would literally like, move it across the table and say like this is the pathway it's taking, or these are the models it flies over, or whatever.
And then blow them up.
And that's
I
it.
don't- yeah, and could you even shoot at them?
Yeah.
No, it was just sort
You
of a
did-
symbolic gesture.
Yeah.
There is air cover somewhere around.
Somewhere
here.
around here. It might affect the game. We're not really sure because we're not going to roll. No. Yeah, you rolled some dice. You did your attack run, lined it up, and yeah.
It's wild.
So young Simon coming back into the game, aka Val Heffelfinger, later reborn as Val Heffelfinger, sees all these flyers and then finds out about Elysians, and I have built up a shadow collection of these guys who live in a box and have never seen the tabletop.
That is upsetting.
Because they've always been my hobby project that I have never done. So I have like just a really nice group of guys that they're all secondhand, like dudes I just accumulated through Kijiji and like buying and selling and weaseling and
Yes, wheeling and dealing.
wheeling and dealing, and maybe one day. But
and it's like your pet project. It's like you are gonna do it and make it nice.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's that dream that every hobbyist has.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like
that's me.
I would love to see those on the table this time next year.
That's a bold proclamation.
I mean, I made it. I'm comfortable making it.
I've never actually committed to it, but maybe now's the time. Or maybe now's the time to not touch them, because I'll tell you something, Jerry. Out of print Forgeworld is solid gold.
Yeah, yeah.
It is so mint. Anyway, so maybe I don't touch it.
It's an investment.
Yeah, maybe that's just socked away.
Yeah, I really am mad that I didn't get some of those old dreadnoughts when they were selling those off.
Oh, like the Contemptors and things?
Yeah. No, the box knots when they...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I meant to, but then,
I
like...
also love those dreadnoughts.
They're great, but I also wanted to pay rent.
Right.
And I asked my landlord, and he was, like, not into the...
Was this before the whole China thing?
No. It was around when that was happening. But, you know, it was the same thing where I was like, this is an investment. But it was hard to sell it on my girlfriend at the time.
Fair enough.
I was like, this is going to be our retirement dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
So, does anybody have any actual interactions with Elysians on the table?
It has dawned on me that I have never, and actually just once, with the worst, actually tournament game I've ever played. It was a guy who was playing Elysians in 7th edition, and because I had fantasized about this army I had in a box in the closet so much, I knew the rules quite well. Mm-hmm. He was banking on nobody knowing those rules. He was an actual scumbag. I played, at this point, probably dozens, maybe over 100 tournament games. Like, this is the only real awful dude I've played. And he cheated his ass off the whole time, and I was able to call him out. And if he had been running anything else, like, I would have been oblivious and ruined.
Do you think that you blew his friggin' mind?
He was just like, what are the chances someone knows what an Aquila Lander does? Or, whatever it was that he had. No, he just had a bunch of flyers. They weren't even the actual models. It was annoying.
Oh.
Anyway, it was bad. And so that was my only actual tabletop experience with Elysians. It was that one time I had a bad round, and I wound up winning, so I didn't really care at the end of the day. What about you?
Yeah, so I don't have distinct memories such as that of like an intimate experience. I remember how the game went exactly, kind of thing. But when I was working at Games Workshop back in the day, 10 years ago, 12
Underground?
years ago, 13, 14 years. I can't even remember. Yeah, it would have been... Man, I worked there at 17 years old. It's my first job out of high school.
That's cool.
It's crazy. So that's 14 years ago that I started.
Dude, you're old.
It's a lifetime ago.
Yeah. Yikes. Anyways,
there's a real faraway look on Adam's face right now.
Yeah. So one of the guys...
darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, just camera pans out.
Beautiful family.
So one of the part-timers there, he was like the lifetime part-timer at the time. His name was Laurent. He's a great guy. I've actually
just doing it for the discount.
Oh, totally. Well, no, he it was his job through school, but he was like always in school. Like,
okay,
he's gonna be in school for his whole life, kind of thing. He's a great dude. I actually caught him at the sorting board recently, playing some Shadespire, and a lot of the old Games Workshop crew is kind of hanging out together, and yeah, so it's exciting. But yeah, he got super excited about all this and purchased up a whole bunch of them, a few Valkyries, and he was kind of the kind of guy who'd paint half the army and then be on to the next thing.
Okay.
And so he kind of did that with this army and play tested a few times. And this is back when everything that Deep Struck scattered like crazy, and there were horrible consequences when you got it wrong. And he was just, kind of like Quirk on mini wargaming. Like, he's just always going to roll ones. You know, and he's kind of known for that, right? Mm. Same deal with this guy, just the worst of luck all the time. And so you kind of feel bad because the Games Workshop discount is not as good on Forgeworld. So he paid some money for this and never could make it work. And but it was just a joy because he's such a sweet guy. And
it looked beautiful.
And it looked beautiful. Let him put him in the case as like a work in progress because back then at Games Workshop you could only play on the tables with painted models.
Right.
And if you're a staffer, you could only put models in the display case if they're fully painted with the eyes painted.
Oh.
Which is where, Paul, my stickler for eyes, this is what it's born out of.
Hey, man, it made me a better eye painter.
There you go. It made you an eye painter.
Exactly. All my dudes got eyes now.
It's made me a better commission paint customer.
There you go.
Battle Brother Studios.
So yeah, so that's my little memory that I want to share, and it is that is the reason that I own a Forgeworld Valkyrie, because I was super jealous of his Valkyries and just needed one.
Are we able to do a super quick touch on the rules and then wrap this party up?
I think that's exactly what we do.
Cool. So in 8th edition, I'm just going to talk. Okay, but I want to read the copy.
All right. Well, I'm going to blow open a Muskoka Detour. Again.
Right before we take a detour into the rules.
Camel spitting on the ground. Muskoka Brewery Detour, refreshingly adventurous beer for those who want to stray from the everyday. Dry hop brewed as sessionable IPA, it delivers a rewarding aroma and tilting the can back up so I don't spill it everywhere. And it tastes less traveled. Check your date code, as our beer is best fresh, a result of our pure, natural, unfiltered brewing process, handcrafted with no preservatives.
I feel like they wrote that themselves.
Did you guys hear that loon in the background?
Oh man, it was like I was in Muskoka without the horrendous real estate prices and snobbery.
Loranda's an institution. Yes, see? John Tongue is in there.
What was that?
He knows. Just an old Games Workshop Eden Center guy is in the
Lionel?
chat. Lorand? The
Oh.
guy was talking about the Elysian Army.
Oh.
Muskoka, like, Detour's so tasty.
I love Detour. It's my favorite. But I always drink it and think, this beer isn't fancy enough for Paul Fowler. But now it is, and now I feel better about it.
Here's the thing. One of my favorite beers is a shit ton of Coors Light. Like,
Yeah.
a Coors Light? Not good.
That's the Newfoundland coming out in you.
No,
right
no.
here.
An octagon full of, like, Coors Light? Okay, that's
Yeah.
its purpose.
I like that Coors Light comes in cases that,
You can put ice in.
you can put ice in, but also 24 is not enough. It's like 28, 32.
Yeah. Like, that's the point of that beer. It's not like, oh, I'm going to sit down and enjoy a beer. It's like, no, I've buried a pig in the ground, and we're having a pig roast, and I need to have a beer in my hand the entire time, but I don't want to die.
So, I went to Newfoundland once. I went for 9 days to visit my buddy in the Navy, and I was totally bewildered that these guys were drinking light beer. And so eventually I couldn't help but ask, like, dude, why are you guys drinking light beer? Like, you guys are Navy dudes. You're supposed to be, like, rough and tough, like soldier boys. And they're like, dude, we drink light beer so we can drink all day.
All day.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And at the time, to my ridiculous brain, I was like, that's a good idea. I would not recommend that as a good idea anymore. But
Like, honestly, they have found a way to market it where...
That
like,
is, guys, that is why light beer exists. It
Yeah.
exists so that you can sit out back of your garage and hang out with your neighbors and drink for 14 hours straight.
Uh-huh. Or have 2 light beer instead of, like, 2 calorie-heavy regular beer, and have 2 deviled eggs.
So, fun fact for you, Paul, just because you out loud said the calorie thing. Light beer in the States is in reference to calories. Light beer in Canada is in reference to alcohol content.
I know.
Because they don't list alcohol content in the States.
Really?
Yeah, on their beer cans, there's no alcohol by volume.
Woo! Interesting.
Strange.
Also,
What are they hiding?
Moosehead did one better on the Coors Light and took it down to 3.5% with their cracked canoe.
Yeah, I'm good with
It's literally like drinking water.
that. I mean, I've had kombucha that had more alcohol in it.
Than a cracked canoe.
No.
Why is drinking American beer like having sex in a canoe?
Because it's friggin' close to water.
Old timey Canadian humor for our friends down south there.
That's right.
guys.
Careful with that joke. It's an antique.
It is. It is. It's an oldie but a goodie. So, quick swing through the rules here.
Yeah, you're going to have to take the lead on this. I didn't...
Well, there's not a lot to it.
Yeah, we'll just do 8th edition rules because they
Yeah.
basically operate the same.
The one thing, so you find their rules in the Index Forces of the Astra Militarum
Forgeworld edition.
Forgeworld edition, and they are in there with the Death Corps of Krieg and Renegades for some reason. Anyway, so a lot of the stuff that used to be viewed as just Elysian, such as the Taurus Assault Vehicle and Venator, the Cyclops demolition vehicle. These have all actually been sort of splintered out into the more general Astra Militarum.
So just rolled into the regular rules?
Yeah. So, well, they're just regular old Astra Militarum. Whereas now, and then the Elysians can take them as part of their army.
So do you think, this is just pure speculation, but do you think in Fires of Caraxes, or whatever it's called, if it ever comes out,
Sure hope so.
do you think that we might see this be given to Scions?
No, because I think if you want to, you can just bring them with your Scions.
Okay, makes sense.
You can just give them whatever regiment you want.
Cool.
But the Elysians themselves, this actually makes them interesting. So the Elysians themselves can bring other stuff from outside of their army list that are just Astra Militarum in the list because of how their regiment keyword works.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually replace... I can't remember. There's a lot of weird nuances. Because it's a half-baked Forgeworld 8th edition transition book that has been FAQ'd 1,000 times, by the way, guys. So like, if you do order the book, then also go down, get yourself a big old pad of 8.5 by 11 paper, and get all the FAQs, because a lot of the rules have been modified since. But essentially, you are able to mix and match more with an Elysian group than you would with trying to keep a pure regiment detachment with, say, Catachans.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, yeah, things that didn't make it into their group are things like the Marauder Bomber, they also didn't keep the D99 rules. So D99 in 7th edition had some cool-ass rules.
Yeah.
For, like, being, like, veteran snipers. They had, like, all Melta, like, almost like Horus Heresy style, like, an entire unit of flamers that could jump out of a Valkyrie.
I like that idea because that was the only way you could bust tanks.
It was neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we've got 5 Meltaguns. Are they going to be more effective altogether? Yeah, probably.
And, like, in a company-level wargame, like, D99, like, made a lot of sense as being sort of super soldiers dropping down and kicking a lot of butt and taking names, and Solomon Locke, as noted, is the coolest Inquisitor model ever made. So, anyway, it's sad that they didn't make it into this, but they didn't actually have models. They were just Elysians that you said were D99, right? And in them, in the actual Elysian range, you have this weird thing where, like, the actual squads, like, infantry squads, can't take heavy weapons. So they can only take special weapons, but you can bring Elysian heavy weapons teams separately, so you can still bring your 9 mortars with Elysians. They all get the grab... anything in the Elysian army list gets the grab shoot insertion rule, and that includes the flyers included in the list.
That's cool.
So you can deep strike your vulture out of the table or what have you. I don't know if the Vendetta... Yep, Vendetta's there. So you get that kind of mobility. And as a result, actually, a lot of the Elysian part of Elysians kind of gets left at home a lot of the time. Like, you're not flying around in Vendettas and doing fun stuff because you just deep strike them in. With the beta now, actually, I think they become more Elysian. You probably could see something like a Valkyrie come back. I've been finding myself fantasizing about Valkyries on the streetcar. If only because they can move their full distance, which I don't see any reason why could not include advance, and you can always disembark. You just have to roll a dice. If you roll a 1, you die. Like, one guy dies.
Happens to the best of us.
But you can also join units. So I always kind of imagine, like, two Valkyries just, like, burning across the table, 2 infantry squads getting out. Whoever lives sort of mobs up, and then you got, like, one badass unit with a bunch of characters and stuff just kicking ass in the middle of the table. I just think it's cool, and maybe one day I'll do it.
The problem is 20 guardsmen in the middle of the table aren't exactly owning the middle of the table.
Well, they are if they have, like, the Psyker. If they have an Imperial Psyker, they got, like, either a +1 of their saves or a -1 to hit. And then there's a stratagem that gives them go to ground, which is either -1 to hit or +1 of their saves. So they have all these things to kind of make them more durable.
Yeah,
and
it's not going to be the only part of your army either.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm not saying this is a good idea.
At that point, you're having more than 2 Valkyries, at least.
Well, it'd be two Valks. It'd be 2 Valks
okay.
as sort of the core, and then maybe the rest is just vultures. But anyway...
I've played against this army.
Oh, yeah.
As Scions, not Elysians.
Okay.
But it didn't go well for him.
Oh, too bad. Well, maybe he didn't have enough of a cinematic vision for it. Like, I've spent a lot of time zoned out looking out the window of a streetcar thinking about this.
I mean,
do it, man. Just do it.
That does go a long way.
Something that we haven't mentioned are the actual super cool Elysian drop sentinels.
Yes, the guys with like the really squat compartments.
Yeah, so like they have and they got like little booster jets on them. I think they have been never actually run as drop sentinels by anybody, and especially not now when there's going to be -1 to hit on their 4-up ballistic skill for their multi-melta.
Yeah, that's something I was sad to see is most of these troops are coming with a 4-up. You can only get the 3-up to hit if you're taking the veterans.
Right.
Yeah, which kind of runs counter to the fluff.
Yeah, and you're like, and at that point you're not getting your battalion. Like
And veterans aren't troops anymore. In the old days, in the last edition, you could take veterans as troops. I wish that hadn't gone away.
I wish they would do stuff where if you had like a regular platoon, you could take 1 unit of veterans as troops. Like, I wish that
You had the platoon structure again.
right, like that.
Yeah, they like where you see Elysians in my world, which is horrifying competitive play. The only place you saw them was at the beginning of 8th, especially right when they nerfed the company command squads and made like plasma cost more on them, and made it so you can only bring 1 for every company commander that you had. And then Forgeworld just didn't update the same rules, so everyone was like, "Oh, they're Elysians now." So you saw a lot of Elysian company command squads for like 5 minutes.
proxy Legion company command squads.
Yeah, no,
you
they
didn't
were
actually see them.
They were just Cadians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might as well be paper cutouts.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far.
I don't care for that.
I know you guys don't care for that. All right? I'm sorry I mentioned it. And that's why, there are 3 ways to play.
There are. I mean,
But only 3!
if you come with a 4th, I will fight you.
Like people trying to say match play and tournament play are 2 different things. I'm like, oh my
No.
god. So yeah, any final thoughts about Elysians? I mean, that was a blast through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I love. I probably won't be able to find it now. Actually, I just realized I leaned over on my computer to find the article that you sent that kind of had the history of it unfolding, and I really liked that original White Dwarf picture with the Space Marine Scouts, green stuff to have the quilted shoulder pads and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, we never really touched on that, did we?
no, not at all. So let's go there. I mean, that was the first picture on the list. I'll give you time to open up the document and just kind of talk about my thoughts about that first picture. And it really seemed to me, and this totally just tickles the spirit of the game side in me, that this was like a pet project from someone in the studio in their original creation. And they converted the squad up, and they wrote a little storyline to it. And then just as the company grew and the kind of storyline unfolded and you make friends in the studio and stuff, one of your friends in Forgeworld is like, you know what? Let's give this guy an army for his birthday or whatever, and they actually started making models and writing rules for it.
I mean, that's like bald-faced speculation, but it's a nice story.
Totally. Yeah. That none of that could be fact at all, but I just totally think that the company's small enough that that's how this stuff happens, and we've seen that happen with, I forget the exact example, but like a particular Space Marine chapter, I think, was one that was just made up by a guy, and then it became canon, and eventually.
Oh, I mean, most of them are. All of your early first edition, or your early Space Marine characters are just people's named characters.
Sure.
Yeah.
The first named Inquisitor ever was what was it? Obi-Wan,
Obi-Wan,
Sherlock,
Cluso.
Cluso. There's another one.
No.
Jones.
Nah.
There's 4 names.
Is
It's
it?
awful. It's like 4 names.
We've mentioned this guy at least in 50% of our episodes.
Is that true?
Yeah. Pay
I
attention.
must have been picking up some poopies at that time.
Yeah, that's all right.
Um,
Some dukes.
I was going to say that one of the cool things, getting that personal sort of element of the design potentially was doing the Wayback Machine to the Forgeworld site from 2004 or 5. They had all of the designers and sculptors listed and had bios, and beside each thing that they made, like for the Elysian drop troops, they would explain sort of the design idea and say who sculpted it for each and everything that was on the Forgeworld website at the time. And I think it's kind of a shame that that's hidden from view now.
They do it like
In White Dwarf, they'll do it.
in White Dwarf. They'll do it, and sometimes with like the big release videos, they'll have the designer.
Yes.
And I love those, and I hate that they're just promo videos that are like, here's 4 minutes of like so and so talking about sculpting a Primarch.
Markarian, yeah.
I'm like, no, tell me about like how you AutoCAD'd the shit out of the what's the 2-pistol guy?
The more tat.
Yeah, more tat. Like, give me, like, just tell me about the design elements. Like, sure, I can spot them, but you guys are artists. Like,
Yeah.
sure, it like.
Do we have the name of the guy on the banana fur and the no pistol grips on the?
No. Well, that's the thing. If we knew who did it, then people would like be calling for Crazy Blood.
Who was the guy who rewrote all the fluff in 5th edition?
Blythe? No.
No, that's the.
You mean in like proper 40K?
Yeah.
Andy Ward. Was it?
No, you're mixing up names.
Yeah.
It's something Ward.
It's
Matt.
Matt Ward.
Matt Ward.
I think
I should have known that.
I think it was the vitriol for Matt Ward that drove them into anonymity.
Probably.
I think that literally we scared them both off of the internet. I mean, I wasn't participating at the time, but like they literally packed up shop and were like, "Not going on the internet anymore, guys.
Have you seen the internet? It's crazy out
That's
there."
messed up. We're not doing that, and you guys, we're not putting your name on anything ever again. So that just can't happen. I swear to God, that happened.
Oh, that is 100% why the rules are anonymized.
Yeah, which is why, guys. Oh no, you got to be a patron to hear what I said about the London GT. But be nice to each other out there, because there's real people who do this shit.
It's like that's the thing. This community is not that big. If you wanted to
No,
go,
there's a guy in Nottingham in England who you could probably go eat fish and chips with, who made this entire range. His name's like Simon Egan or something. Like I was on the website.
Something.
Like,
Hey, Will Hayes.
you could look him up, and I'm sure they still have phone books in Nottingham. You could look him up and probably creep him out at trying to have a nice pint with his family. You know, because they're just normal ass people.
We're not condoning this course of action. Inches and Cubes does not condone tracking down.
This is also how you get on
Designers.
podcasts, by the way, guys. Just talk, just send messages willy nilly, and people will talk to you for some reason.
All right. That'll be my my goal for next season. Is
Get on another podcast?
no, get Simon Egan on this podcast.
Sure, I have meant to message him for the last 2 weeks, and I didn't. I had other people messaging.
Asking about
Yeah.
the Elysians.
Yeah, but nothing panned out.
No.
Alas.
Shucks.
Well, that was fun.
It was
Kinda
Take-
neat.
Take a little break and maybe do some fun time after this.
There's a fun time on top of this?
Oh, buddy, we love fun time.
What if the meat of the episode was already a fun time?
It keeps going up. It's
bonus round?
Is there anyone on our Twitch stream?
Ready for
fun.
time.
You know what's fun? Drinking beers with your buds.
A couple brewskis.
And right now I'm drinking an Abe Herb. Wait, what's happening?
Abe Herb?
Abe Herb.
Herb.
It's a Kolsch style lagered ale, also from the Kitchener Waterloo guys. It's about independence and hard work. We're here to do right by the old man because beer is his middle name. What am I even reading?
I don't know, but when I said a Kolsch style lager ale, when I read the can earlier today, one of you two was like, "Yeah, it's like a beer from Bavaria, idiot."
Yeah, it is. Or it's
That was that guy.
Yeah.
Who's talking right now?
I can.
So, I always find lagered ales interesting because,
they're aged in caves.
well, the whole point of a lager is it's one type of yeast, and the whole point of an ale is it's another type of yeast, top or bottom. I always forget which one's which.
Lagering
A
is like-
lagered ale is both of the types of yeast.
and lagering is a way of aging the beer as well.
Something to do with the climate, I imagine.
In caves, yes.
Yes.
So you're replicating that aging process
Yeah.
with an ale.
Well, there you go. So it's the best of both worlds, which is why, shoot, what's that beer called? The one they have at Duffy's that's...
Cool.
No. The good one. It's like you get the shitty
Bose?
one. Bose. Bose is a lagered ale. It's the first one I met, and it's a fantastic beer.
When'd you guys meet?
Yeah, like maybe 8 years ago.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So we got the Knuckler coming up.
This is what our fun time's going to be. It's Val telling you what's happening tomorrow if you're listening to this on Friday.
That's true, actually. Tomorrow, we're going to get in there hopefully at 8:30 in the a.m. Hopefully teeing off around 9 a.m. That's the goal.
You confirm that with Raph?
Yeah.
Good.
In the next couple days. Which will be in the past by the time this drops.
Oh, he's going to be...
No,
mad.
we already talked about it. I'm
Okay.
getting him some pancakes
Nice.
and a couple, I assume, energy drinks.
So he
Hot
was
chocolates.
I'll open up early if you buy me breakfast?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that's already happened.
Great.
And Raph is a saint for the club and for being a good guy, so it's going to be awesome. So we're running the pretty much same old format as we did for the Hogtown Open from the fall. Did knock the points down to 1,500. See, one of these things that happened was the Hogtowner has been a bit of an X project wrapped in a shroud of secrecy. And so I would have loved to have known that there was an almost identical pack for the Hogtowner, but not quite. That I only discovered after posting the pack for the Knuckler. Because I would have just done the exact same thing.
Like the exact same comp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so little variation that it's absurd that there were two different kinds. So anyway, although they're not doing ITC missions, which we will be. And I think it is a good thing to run a tournament at 1,500 just to see, does it feel too lean? Mm-hmm. Because I think 40k is too fat. We know that. Is 1,750 lean enough? Well, we can find out if 1,500 doesn't feel like a game.
Yeah.
I suspect it'll feel good.
It felt like a game.
Yeah.
Phil and I had a great time yesterday.
Yeah.
It was good.
Like, I've played 1,000-point games in 5th edition, and I was like...
It's not like 8th, though.
No.
Yeah. I think 8th also... Am I wrong? Well, certain things got inflated, other things came down. So that's why I think you immediately saw, like, vehicles got a lot more expensive immediately because they got much better. Like the sort of the cost per wound or whatever got much higher on certain models. And that's why I think you've seen a proliferation of horde and infantry throughout 8th edition. 120 Fire Warriors. Which I actually was reflecting on and realized that's probably a terrible idea because they'll put a 6 cap on troops in the next beta, I'm sure. So anyway, we're going to do 3 rounds. The Knuckler, the original concept of the Knuckler, something based on the LVO that actually on the LVO review Nick was super pumped about, which is to do a single elimination bracket. Just you come in, you write your names down on the bracket, winner goes on, loser goes home to hang out with their other friends. Or matches up, plays a different game. Issue with that is that the feedback from the people was, hey, we'd like, if we're coming for a tournament and we lose first round, we'd like to have, a tournament to continue playing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And fair enough. Actually, fair enough. There's no issue running that. So the weird compromise we wound up with was kind of a triple elimination format, which makes it just a regular tournament, but that's fine. And we're going to run 2 brackets of that.
Well, at that point, though, your top bracket is elimination.
Well, that's just the last game.
Yeah. So, I don't think that it's a compromise on the vision exactly.
The vision is you lose and you leave.
Yeah.
Or find another game with someone else who's lost.
Okay.
And the idea there is just that it's very, very simple and straightforward to run. And it's just kind of fun. It was supposed to be like it's a knockout.
Yeah.
But I also get how that's maybe a bit, more than people want. People just want to be able to play some games. Let's have some structure, so we got some structure.
Perfect.
We'll see what happens if we don't get the full 16.
I think the idea, though, is still if you lose that first game, you can't get...
You can't get to the top.
Can't get best. Yeah,
you can't do that in an 8-man bracket anyway.
No.
You can't win. So when you keep the bracket 8 people,
What if everybody loses?
I don't.
Then you could still get to the top.
I don't know how. How would that be possible?
If everybody loses at least one game.
In 3 games?
Yeah. Everyone can lose one game.
Well, I guess then it very much depends on the order in which that happens.
Does it?
Yeah.
If you go with strength of schedule.
There wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because it's predetermined what your next game is based on your win or your loss.
If
So
you
a
do,
draw-
if
a
you
draw-
do legit knockout, right? Then you're just... But...
But there's no way for a legit knockout for that to happen.
Exactly. But in the compromise knockout...
No.
In the triple elimination?
No. Your top tables are still going to be your top tables.
Yeah. Yeah, it would work out the same. It's just that instead of being eliminated, you have to be eliminated. You get 3 rounds. They're guaranteed your 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's not even really a triple elimination. That's just me being funny.
After your 3 games, you go home.
After 3 games, you go home, and it'll be fun. We get to play the ITC missions, which I love. I get to be an asshat all day and do things like say, "Woo!" and yell at people to hurry up or not. And I get to go set up the tables on Thursday. I get to do the whole TO thing, which I'm super jacked to do.
You set them up on Thursday and hope they survive?
Friday.
Okay. That's like,
Friday
wow.
night. Talked to Raph about this already. Okay, it's all set up. Okay, it's ready to
Great.
go.
No, that
I'm
sounds
just
fabulous.
noticing a lack of trust. I've been to a lot of tournaments. Okay? I think I can handle this.
I've eaten a lot of steaks. I bet I could cook them.
I'm pretty sure I have a lot of adult responsibilities. I can handle this.
It's true. If you
All
can drive a car, you can
All
run
it
a
was
tournament.
is, like, I literally had to write out handwritten signs, and I totally misspelled them, too. And I taped them onto every table saying, if you move stuff around, you have to put it back, right?
In a loving manner.
In a loving manner.
Manner spelled as though it's a large house.
Manor.
And I knew when I wrote the first one, I was like, this isn't how you spell manner. But I'm just going to roll with it because I don't want to Google it right now. And so I just wrote out the other 6 pages.
That's the craziest part that you recognize at the start. Ah!
And then, like,
This is how mutations get in genes. Okay.
like 3 weeks later, I go in and Bjarne's like, so someone pointed out that you spelled manner wrong. Like, not even saying, like, oh, I noticed you spelled manner wrong or something like that. He's like, so I would like, waiting for you to come back in so I could ask you if we could change it. And I was like, dude, just change it. Like, why would you wait 3 weeks? Anyways,
Just hanging up there.
so when you said you were going to set up the train on Thursday, this is like still fresh in my mind. I
Yeah,
have
it's a
yet
bit
to
of a-
like share any of these stories with anybody.
Bit of
So
a peak of experience moment.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you continue on.
Loving manner is important in all things 40K, which you would know if you had the Patreon and listened to our special Twitch content about the LGT. But in all seriousness, I am a little confused as to what we do if we don't get exactly 16 people.
Do you have a ringer?
Well, even still, like say we get, I don't know, 13. I think you just run a normal ass tournament.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most wise thing to do.
Yeah.
But hopefully we hustle them to get to 16. We're damn close right now, actually. I think we're sitting around 13 or 14. So if you're out there and you're listening,
I'm going to text a guy right now for you.
you could probably just show up tomorrow. Tomorrow being Saturday, the Knuckler 13th in May. 26th, May 26th. And get some awesome games in. Have fun. Hang out with Val Heffelfinger, minor
Internet.
40K talking head. Literal talking head.
Yeah, you're on the thing now.
Bullshit. My face is on this.
Well, you gotta talk to him about that. I don't edit video.
Where did this stream thing come from?
This guy.
Why?
Why not?
I gotta be somewhere. I gotta be watching. I can't just have some antisocial Bluetooth headphones in my ears and walking around ignoring people. That's how I normally enjoy you guys.
That's how I normally enjoy most things.
Tuning out society
Yeah.
with 40K podcasts.
Well, you know, Paul's pretty handsome, so it's good to...
He's good. And
Save
I
it
get
for-
all of his jokes, and they feel like they're made for me.
I told you, everyone has an audience in mind.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I think that's it.
Was it fun?
I had fun.
It was a
It
time.
was fun. It was fun.
All right, everyone go home.
Ready for
Fun time.
You know what's fun? Drinking beers with your buds.
A couple brewskis.
And right now I'm drinking an Abe Herb. Wait, what's happening?
Abe Herb?
Abe Herb.
Herb.
It's a Kolsch style lagered ale, also from the Kitchener Waterloo guys. It's about independence and hard work. We're here to do right by the old man because beer is his middle name. What am I even reading?
I don't know, but when I said a Kolsch style lager ale, when I read the can earlier today, one of you two was like, "Yeah, it's like a beer from Bavaria, idiot."
Yeah, it is. Nerds.
That was that guy.
Yeah.
Who's talking right now? I can... So, I always find lagered ales interesting because...
They're aged in caves.
Well, the whole point of a lager is it's one type of yeast, and the whole point of an ale is it's another type of yeast, top or bottom. I always forget which one's which.
Lagering
A
is
lagered ale is both of the types of yeast.
and lagering is a way of aging the beer as well.
Something to do with the climate, I imagine.
In caves, yes.
Yes.
So you're replicating that aging process
Yeah.
with an ale.
Well, there you go. So it's the best of both worlds, which is why... shoot, what's that beer called? The one they have at Duffy's that's...
Cool.
No. The good one. It's like you get the
Bose?
shitty one. Bose. Bose is a lagered ale. It's the first one I met, and it's a fantastic beer.
Where'd you guys meet?
Yeah, like maybe 8 years ago.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So we got the Knuckler coming up.
This is what our fun time's going to be. It's Val telling you what's happening tomorrow if you're listening to this on Friday.
That's true, actually. Tomorrow, we're going to get in there hopefully at 8:30 in the a.m. Hopefully teeing off around 9 a.m. That's the goal.
You confirm that with Raph?
Yeah.
Good.
In the next couple days. Which will be in the past by the time this drops.
Oh, he's going to be...
No, we already talked about it. I'm
Okay.
getting him some pancakes
Nice.
and a couple, I assume, energy drinks.
So he
Hot
was like,
chocolates.
I'll open up early if you buy me breakfast.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that's already happened.
Great.
And Raph is a saint for the club and for being a good guy, so it's going to be awesome. So we're running the pretty much same old format as we did for the Hogtown Open from the fall. Did knock the points down to 1,500. See, one of these things that happened was the Hogtowner has been a bit of an X project wrapped in a shroud of secrecy. And so I would have loved to have known that there was an almost identical pack for the Hogtowner, but not quite. That I only discovered after posting the pack for the Knuckler. Because I would have just done the exact same thing.
Like, exact same comp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so little variation that it's absurd that there were two different kinds. So anyway, although they're not doing ITC missions, which we will be. And I think it is a good thing to run a tournament at 1,500 just to see, does it feel too lean? Mm-hmm. Because I think 40k is too fat. We know that. Is 1,750 lean enough? Well, we can find out if 1,500 doesn't feel like a game.
Yeah.
I suspect it'll feel good.
It felt like a game.
Yeah.
Phil and I had a great time yesterday.
Yeah.
It was good.
Like, I've played 1,000-point games in 5th edition, and I was like...
It's not like 8th, though.
No.
Yeah. I think 8th also... Am I wrong? Well, certain things got inflated, other things came down. So that's why I think you immediately saw, like, vehicles got a lot more expensive immediately because they got much better. Like the sort of the cost per wound or whatever got much higher on certain models. That's why I think you've seen a proliferation of horde and infantry throughout 8th edition. 120 Fire Warriors. Which I actually was reflecting on and realized that's probably a terrible idea because they'll put a 6 cap on troops in the next beta, I'm sure. So anyway, we're going to do 3 rounds. The Knuckler, the original concept of the Knuckler, something based on the LVO that actually on the LVO review, Nick was super pumped about. which is to do a single elimination bracket. Just you come in, you write your names down on the bracket. Winner goes on, loser goes home to hang out with their other friends, or matches up, plays a different game. Issue with that is that people, the feedback from the people was, hey, we'd like, if we're coming for a tournament and we lose first round, we'd like to have, a tournament to continue playing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And fair enough. Actually, fair enough. There's no issue running that. So the weird compromise we wound up with was kind of a triple elimination format, which makes it just a regular tournament, but that's fine. And we're going to run 2 brackets of that.
Well, at that point, though, your top bracket is elimination.
Well, that's just the last game.
Yeah. So, I don't think that it's a compromise on the vision exactly.
The vision is you lose and you leave.
Yeah.
Or find another game with someone else who's lost.
Okay.
And the idea there is just that it's very, very simple and straightforward to run. And it's just kind of fun. It's supposed to be like it's a knockout.
Yeah.
But I also get how that's maybe a bit, more than people want. People just want to be able to play some games. Let's have some structure, so we got some structure.
Perfect.
We'll see what happens if we don't get the full 16.
I think the idea, though, is still if you lose that first game, you can't get...
You can't get to the top.
Can't get best. Yeah,
But you can't do that in an 8-man bracket anyway.
No.
You can't win. So when you keep the bracket 8 people...
What if everybody loses?
I don't
Then you could still get to the top.
I don't know how. How would that be possible?
If everybody loses at least one game.
In 3 games?
Yeah. Everyone can lose one game.
Well, I guess then it very much depends on the order in which that happens.
Does it?
Yeah.
If you go with strength of schedule.
But there wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because it's predetermined what your next game is based on your win or your loss.
If
So
you
a
do,
draw-
If
a
you
draw-
do legit knockout, right? Then you're just... But...
But there's no way for a legit knockout for that to happen.
Exactly. But in the compromise knockout...
No.
In the triple elimination?
No. Your top tables are still going to be your top tables.
Yeah. Yeah, it would work out the same. It's just that instead of being eliminated, you have to be eliminated. You get 3 rounds. They're guaranteed your 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's not even really a triple elimination. That's just me being funny.
After your 3 games, you go home.
After 3 games, you go home, and it'll be fun. We get to play the ITC missions, which I love. I get to be an asshat all day and do things like say, "Woo!" and yell at people to hurry up or not. And I get to go set up the tables on Thursday. I get to do the whole TO thing, which I'm super jacked to do.
You set them up on Thursday and hope they survive?
Friday.
Okay. That's
Friday
wow.
night. Talked to Raph about this already. Okay, it's all set up. Okay, it's ready to go.
Great. No, it
I'm
sounds
just
fabulous.
noticing a lack of trust. I've been to a lot of tournaments. Okay? I think I can handle this.
I've eaten a lot of steaks. I bet I could cook them.
I'm pretty sure I have a lot of adult responsibilities. I can handle this.
It's true. If you
All
can
it-
drive a car, you can
All
run
it
a
was
tournament.
is, I literally had to write out handwritten signs, and I totally misspelled them too, and I taped them onto every table saying, if you move stuff around, you have to put it back, right?
In a loving manner.
In a loving manner.
Manner spelled as though it's a large house.
Manor.
And I knew when I wrote the first one, I was like, this isn't how you spell manner, but I'm just going to roll with it because I don't want to Google it right now. And so I just wrote out the other 6 pages.
That's the craziest part that you recognize at the start. Ah!
And then,
This is how mutations get in genes, okay?
3 weeks later, I go in and Bjarne's like, so someone pointed out that you spelled manner wrong. Not even saying oh, I noticed you spelled manner wrong or something like that. He's like, so I would waiting for you to come back in so I could ask you if we could change it. And I was like, dude, just change it. Why would you wait 3 weeks? Anyways,
Just hanging up there.
so when you said you were going to set up the train on Thursday, this is still fresh in my mind. I
Yeah,
have
it's a
yet
bit
to
of a-
share any of these stories with anybody.
Bit of
So
a peak of experience moment.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you continue on.
Loving manner is important in all things 40K, which you would know if you had the Patreon and listened to our special Twitch content about the LGT. But in all seriousness, I am a little confused as to what we do if we don't get exactly 16 people.
Do you have a ringer?
Well, even still, like say we get, I don't know, 13. I think you just run a normal ass tournament.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most wise thing to do.
Yeah.
But hopefully we hustle them to get to 16. We're damn close right now, actually. I think we're sitting around 13 or 14. So if you're out there and you're listening...
I'm going to text the guy right now for you.
You could probably just show up tomorrow. Tomorrow being Saturday, the Knuckler 13th in May. 26th, May 26th. And get some awesome games in. Have fun. Hang out with Val Heffelfinger. Minor 40K talking head. Literal talking head.
Yeah, you're on the thing now.
Bullshit. My face is on this.
Well, you gotta talk to him about that. I don't edit video.
Where did this stream thing come from?
This guy.
Why? Why not?
I gotta be somewhere. I gotta be watching. I can't just have some antisocial Bluetooth headphones in my ears and walking around ignoring people. That's how I normally enjoy you guys.
That's how I normally enjoy most things.
Tuning out society.
Yeah.
With 40K podcasts.
Well, Paul's pretty handsome, so it's good to...
He's good. And I get all of his jokes, and they feel like they're made for me.
I told you, everyone has an audience in mind.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I think that's it.
Was it fun?
I had fun.
It was a time.
It was fun. It was fun.
Alright, everyone go home.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back home. Okay.